States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This meeting is now called to order on January 13th, 2026 at 9 a.m. in the public meeting room in Moines County Courthouse. First, we need to see if we have any changes to the tentative agenda, and I do have a change on B for the approval of DHS tax suspension list. We're going to remove that. Do we have any other changes, gentlemen?
I have none.
Okay. Meet with department heads and elected officials. So who we got here? Brandon, anything from IT?
No, nothing new to report, just been busy.
Okay. Chris Lee, conservation.
Just keeping on with this up and down weather. 50 degrees one day, and then it's going to be like 5 on Saturday. So, that's fun. But otherwise, just keeping on. What you said.
Anybody from the sheriff's department?
Everything's going good. Jail numbers obviously are still high. The only good news is I think we have 18 out of county, and hopefully we'll bring 2 more back today. But we'll see. Intake had a couple that might stay, so we'll see what the judges say. Besides that, everything's doing good.
Okay. Trying to see who's here. Sarah Marie, auditor.
Good morning. Plugging away at budget stuff. Staying pretty busy. Nothing new to report today.
Krista Poggemiller, health department.
Good morning. We're just keeping busy. Nothing new to report today.
Okay. Jared Lassiter, land use.
Land use, as you can see from the agenda, we got a couple of minor subdivisions on there that went out for review recently, and I think right before the holidays, and then we got another one I just handed to Shane here. You can all look over. Should be in a couple of weeks, but apart from that, just keeping busy.
Okay. Brooke Marlin, Veterans Affairs.
Good morning. Our coffee and conversation is tomorrow, the 14th at Wake and Bake, 9 o'clock. This event is held on the second Wednesday each month, and all veterans and their spouses are welcome to join. Also next week on the 21st is Vets Day on the Hill at the Iowa State Capitol from 9 to noon. They'll have informational booths, and speakers will begin at 11. More details on that can be found on the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs website. That's all I got.
I'm not sure if I'm missing anybody else.
It's Ryan back here, Janelle back here, and Rodney back here.
Rodney Bleasner, maintenance.
Good morning. Just really busy. Got budget hearing on Thursday. Joint safety meeting Thursday afternoon to kind of go over the budget for next fiscal year. Also, we have the sheriff's office parking lot out for bid, and those are due back tomorrow, I believe, at 1:30. So I really want to thank Brian and Devin and Becky from the roads department with all their help in putting that together and the bid process. So I appreciate all their help. Other than that, just got a lot of different things going on. Thank you.
Janelle Nellie Lundquist, treasurer.
Good morning. We're just keeping busy in the treasurer's office. We are currently training on a new Iowa DOT motor vehicle, maybe the 60 system that will be coming out for us in early 2027, but it's basically for us to learn in our office. But anyway, we're just keeping busy. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Brian Carter, county engineer.
Good morning. A little bit like Chris said, sounds like the last summer day in the middle of winter. So we're out doing a little bit of spot blading, and actually got a culvert we're hoping to replace tomorrow. And sounds like we're going to freeze solid next week, which would be kind of nice for the middle of winter. So anyway, that's what's going on. Plenty of budget stuff going on too. Thank you.
Okay. That brings us to discussion and vote. Well, most of you are all here. Is A, which is the second reading of the wind, solar, and battery ordinance. Last week, I don't know if there was any confusion, but last week was the public hearing. After the public hearing, now we just have the readings. And we have a reading today. Jared?
Just kind of
You're gonna
item to clarify here, so with the draft, the final draft of the ordinance, we did receive a comment about a statement that was in the initially published version in December that there was a section in Article 12, Section D on page 50, where it stated that in any instance where an emergency event results in damage to the components of a wind, solar, or battery system, the owner and/or operator shall be responsible for all costs associated with repair, reactivation, repowering, and/or decommissioning, as well as the restoration of any and all non-participating properties with damage that was proximately caused by the system. This shall apply to both participating and non-participating properties. So the final sentence there clearly contradicts the previous sentence where it specifies that the restoration requirement applies only to, quote, non-participating properties. So in hindsight, this contradiction is the result of a scrivener's error. Previous draft, it referred to restoration of any and all property with damage. So following the work session and discussion with the board, that was changed with the intent that refers specifically to restoration of any and all non-participating properties, specifically because the participating properties have a contract with the owner-operator, and so that would cover responsibilities there. So that the intent there is that the county's requirement would only apply to those non-participating property owners, which would not be covered by such a contract. So this was simply a mistake that last sentence was not removed at that same time. And so that's why that final sentence has been removed, so that it only applies to the non-participating owners.
I've had conversations with the attorney as well and with the auditor. Sarah, can you just add to that? Are we doing something are we setting a precedent doing this, or
So it was published, we had meetings that the sentence was supposed to have been taken out and it clearly was just not removed. It's nothing that was changed that was not discussed prior, so we have the draft that's posted on Friday that has the correct one in it, and the one that you guys passed last week is the correct one as well, so we are good to go.
Okay. Again, I was going to have it delayed, but everything seems to be on the up and up according to the lawyers and advice. So, we're going to move forward on this. Is there a motion to approve the?
I'm gonna make a motion, but give me just a second.
Sure.
In the last few days, and I'm sure you guys got this as well, it was sent to me several times, but there was an excerpt from a lease agreement between a landowner and AES, I believe, that is, I'm sure flooded your inboxes too. The agreement prohibits the landowner from building any structure, A, more than 50 foot high, and B, closer than 1,000 feet, or 1.1 times the turbine height, whichever is lesser, from the closer point of the turbine. The assumption made in the email is that the closest point of the turbine is the tip of the blade when it is pointing 90 degrees away from the turbine. And the implication is that the developer's safety requirements are stricter than the Des Moines County ordinance. It seemed obvious to me that the primary reason for the height and distance requirements was to prevent interference with wind flow. And it also reminded me of a video that the same sender had emailed me a few days prior of AES decommissioning a wind farm, a wind turbine installation in Texas by dropping the turbines with small explosive charges, exactly as we've discussed here numerous times. The video made it just as obvious that lease setbacks from structures or participating property would also eventually be necessary to accommodate the decommissioning process. They aren't gonna want anything, any sort of a structure when they start dropping those things and have to move equipment around doing that, so, but since it was an AES agreement, I reached out to AES to ask about the setback distance. I was told that the setback is measured from the base of the turbine tower, same as the setback measurements in the ordinance, so I'm sure you both got that, so I wanted to let you know I made that call. Anyway, and so I will make a motion to approve the second reading and waive the third reading of the ordinance.
Okay, before I do anything here, I just want to tell you people, this ordinance is to protect both participating and not participating people. Without an ordinance, the wind farms could come in and do what they wanted to. And at least we do have some guidelines, and it's toward neighbor against neighbor, and the public against us. And I'm sorry about that. But the main thing is, you do have some protection, where without this ordinance, you wouldn't have any. So with that said, I second it.
I want to say, I don't want to poo-poo on all the hard work that's been done on the ordinance. I don't want to come off like Jared and Zach didn't put in hard work and that we didn't add our 2 cents and that it was just thrown together. That being said, from the beginning, I just had a few problems with just a couple of things. I think the ordinance is really good. I just disagree with the height. I disagree with the property line. I think it should be from the property line for the setback. I think it should be a one permit setup instead of 2. And because of that, I don't feel comfortable, nor have I. So I'm going to say no on the ordinance. So, Sarah Marie.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
No. Brings us to C. Whereas section 354.8 of the Code of Iowa states that a governing body shall certify by resolution the approval of the subdivision plat. Whereas the final plat of Dean Tager subdivision has been reviewed for conformance to applicable standards for the Des Moines County Auditor, Health Department, Secondary Roads Department, and Land Use Department, and has been duly recommended by the aforementioned entities for approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors hereby approves the final plat of the Dean Tager subdivision, approved and adopted this 13th day of January 2026. Can I get a motion to approve?
Approve.
I get a second.
Second.
Moved in second. Sarah Marie.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. We've got several of these to sign, so we'll do these after we get done. Five D is another resolution approving a final plat for Pam's Land Subdivision. Whereas section 354.8 of the Code of Iowa states that the governing body shall be certified by resolution the approval of the subdivision plat. Whereas the final plat for Pam's Land Subdivision has been reviewed for conformance to applicable county standards by the Des Moines County Auditor, Health Department, Secondary Roads Department, and Land Use Department. It has been duly recommended by the aforementioned entities for approval. Now therefore let it be resolved that the Board of Supervisors hereby approves the final plat of Pam's Land Subdivision, approved and adopted this 13th day of January 2026, Des Moines County Board of Supervisors. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Sarah Marie?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Next on the agenda, we have the appointment of Jim Carrey to SEIRPC Board of Directors, and that's Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission. Whereas the Board of Des Moines County Board of Supervisors has recommended Jim Carrey to serve on SEIRPC's Board of Directors, whereas the SEIRPC Board of Directors has reviewed the Des Moines County membership status and is in good standings. Be it resolved that Jim Carrey is hereby appointed to a one-year term to the Board of Directors, which term will expire on January 1st, 2027. Approved and adopted this 13th day of January 2026, Des Moines County Board of Supervisors. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I get a second? I'll second. Sarah Marie?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. And in no way, me being on that board, I wanna make it clear that it's not a conflict of interest. What's the one term? This is something I've been on for the last few years, and it is an appointment that everybody in the planning, Lee County, has supervisor. Henry County has one on, Wise County's got one on, and we're no different than any other county.
Got to stamp that. Next we have F, it's a resolution for the 2026-004 setting time and date of the FY26 budget amendment hearing. Be resolved, the Board of Supervisors hereby fixes the time and place for a public hearing on the FY26 budget amendment for Tuesday, January 27, 2026 at 9 a.m. in the boardroom and Des Moines County Courthouse. The Des Moines County Budget Director is hereby directed to publish and notice an estimated summary as required by law. Approve this 13th day of January 2026. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Sarah Marie?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Five G is committee assignments for 2026. Excuse me. Jim Carrey, College County Fair Service Agency, Community Foundation Board, Early Childhood Area Board, Highway 61 Coalition, Local Health Board, ex officio, Rural Utility Service Systems, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission, Southeast Iowa Juvenile Detention Agency, and Southeast Iowa Crime Commission. Shane McCampbell, Des Moines County Conservation Board Liaison, Community Action Neighborhood Center, CAP Council, Department of Corrections 8th Judicial District, DESCOM Alternate, Des Moines County Solid Waste Commission, GIS Geographic Information System Commission, Iowa Illinois Freight Corridor, Quad County Decategorization Board, I always have a hard time saying that, Mississippi Family Regional 16 Workforce Development CEO Board, Southeast Iowa Community Action Board of Directors, the Southeast Iowa Regional Trails Committee Commission. Tom Broker, City County Health Insurance Board, DESCOM, Des Moines County Emergency Management Commission, Des Moines County Joint Safety Commission, Des Moines County Safety Committee, Des Moines County Solid Waste Commission alternate, Disaster Recovery Organization, Floodplain Advisory Board, ex officio, Grow Greater Burlington, Chamber of Commerce, ex officio, REAP Committee, Rural Utility Service Systems, RUS, and SEAL Mental Health Region Board, Southeast Iowa Regional Riverboat Commission. And then Sarah Doty, City County Health Insurance Board alternate. Can I get a motion to approve the committee assignments? Sarah Marie?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Next, we have some personnel actions. The first two, I have two for the local health. And one is for Madeline Bark. She's secretary. It is for 8 hours unpaid for 1/8/2026. I'm sorry, 1/8/2026. And the second one is for Drew Tucker, CNA, local health department, 8 hours of unpaid for 1/2/2026. Can I get a motion to approve both?
So moved.
Second.
Sarah Marie?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yeah.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Next, I have one for the Correctional Center. It's Chloe Ravenscraft, part-time correctional officer. It is for, it's her anniversary, her 12-month step increase. Her previous rate was $21 an hour. Her new rate is $22.33, effective January 29, 2026. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Sarah Marie?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. And then I have two for the county attorney. The first one is for Sarah Rouse. She's Special Programs Victim Witness Coordinator. It is her 6-month step increase, her anniversary. Her increase is to $38,724.09, effective 12/2/2025. Her previous rate was $33,370.59. Her new rate is $38,724.09. Can I get a motion to, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I got to. And then Kay Hagan, Receptionist Records Assistant at the County Attorney's Office. It's her anniversary for a 36-month step increase. Her previous rate of pay was $40,782. Her new rate is $41,597.02, effective 1/4/2026. Can I get a motion to approve both?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Sarah Marie?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Next, we have reports from the Recorder's Office, Clerk's Report, Fees Collected, Auditor's Report of Fees Collected. And all of these will be in the Auditor's Office. You can check them out at your leisure. Can I stamp all of these? And finally, we have minutes for the regular meeting on January 6th, 2026. Can I get a motion? Can I get a second?
Second.
Sarah Marie?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Okay. Other business?
I have none.
I have none.
Future agenda items?
I have none.
I have none.
Committee reports. I had my youth board meeting yesterday. Nothing really to report on that. Everything's going quite smoothly. So that's all I
I have
had.
none.
I have none.
Okay. Now this brings us to public input. And yes.
I have a couple questions.
So do I.
I raised my hand Tom, you stated that you don't feel the comprehensive plan for the county applies to the wind ordinance because county residents voted down zoning. If you're not using the comprehensive plan, can you tell me what master plan the board utilizes when making major decisions?
The county comprehensive plan, I don't remember the dates. I think it was passed in the late 1990s. And the reason it was passed because if a county is gonna be zoned, it has to have a comprehensive plan. And we were gonna, for the county board at that time, the county wanted to zone the 2-mile area around Burlington. So they had to have that. They did not want Burlington to do that zoning. So they passed a comprehensive plan. And then when countywide zoning was brought up, it was overwhelmingly, nobody liked that idea. So, I assume you're talking about the, wind, solar, and battery ordinance. Or you're talking about anything.
Any major decision.
I don't know, we go to history, what we can find out about it. I don't remember. Over the years, I've read all or parts of the comprehensive plan, but I don't ever remember referring to it, which doesn't mean it didn't happen, but I do not remember that. But there's no particular code or standard that I'm aware of that we refer to.
Do you plan to limit the number of wind turbines allowed in the county?
That would be, I assume, another ordinance. There's no limiting number in the ordinance we passed.
Your turn.
So I'm Tracy Lamb with the Hawkeye. My question is with the motion to approve the second reading and waive the third. Is that what you all approved was?
That was the motion. It was second and passed 2-1.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to clarify I heard that right because there was two things going on with you were approving the first reading and then you're also approving the waiving of the third.
It was combined into one motion.
Okay,
The first reading was passed last week.
right. But can they combine approving the second reading and approving the
Yes.
waiver? Okay.
That's how it's done.
All right, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we're going to take public comments. You guys know the demo, how we do it last time. Brian's gonna put you on a clock, and it's not gonna be where you get 6-7 times to stand up, so make it count, guys, make it count.
If you want to give the phone number.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. And for those that would like to call in or email us, you can email us at board, B-O-A-R-D, @dmcounty.com. That's board, B-O-A-R-D, @dmcounty.com. Or you can call 319-753-8203, extension 2. That number is 319-753-8203, extension 2. So at this time, we'd like to, we'll hear from you all. Smash them.
Good morning, board. My name's Kyler Masner. I've spoken at a couple of these now. I was the one that wrote the letter, as you all know, concerning what I perceive to be discrepancies between the ordinance. And Supervisor Carey, I agree with you that as a county, we have an interest in protecting both participating landowners and non-participating landowners. And it's that central axiom that I think it's problematic that the board just passed an ordinance that I think deprived participating landowners from being able to comment on it. You speak about internal discussions about the change, and what I mean is the omission of that last sentence in Article 12, Paragraph D. You talk about internal discussions concerning that change, but I'm unaware of any public conversations about those. I'm unaware if again, the public had notice or the opportunity to be heard about any of this. So I think it's extremely problematic, especially when you understand that that omission could translate to these developers avoiding potentially thousands, if not millions of dollars of liability. So I really have a problem here, and I guess I would ask you, these internal discussions, were those done publicly?
Can I answer that? We brought it up here, we had advice that if you include participating and non-participating owners, the county was sticking its nose in a legal agreement between the participating landowners and the developer. And that probably wasn't the way we wanted to go. So, and we discussed it, I know once, maybe twice during the public work sessions that we were gonna take the participating landowners off of those statements. There's one in there that says that the county or that the developer will pay additional costs for crop dusting on non-participating land. And at one time that said participating, and there were several instances that I can't quote right off that it had both of them. So, and we'd asked Jared or Zach Southeast that we wanted that taken out. In that one spot, it got taken out earlier in that paragraph, but it didn't get taken out in the last sentence. And but yeah, that was discussed in public.
And I can respect, the complexity of different versions and whatnot. I guess, but what's true is last week we had one version of the bill that was supposedly read and accepted by the public, and now we hear something different. So can we empathize with the concern of the public?
I empathize with all the public concerns, I truly do. But it's an obvious Scrivener's error. I mean, it was scrubbed from the rest of it. It was scrubbed from the paragraph. It contradicted the sentences before that. So when we went through that, it was,
Yeah, and with
it would have
respect,
created just as much problem if we'd have left it in there. And they said, which sentence is it?
well, respectfully, I disagree that it would muddy the waters, because specifically, we don't know the contracts that future developers are gonna enter into with participating property owners. So again, I think it's a central duty of the county to look after all of its people, and to kind of write it off as something that was a Scrivener's error that was, clear, I think is just doing it a disjustice. Thank you, board.
I guess Brad Coates plus ago, we've been at this 8 months, as everybody said. 9, thank you. Yeah, in last week's meeting, Tom, you commented, if you read this thing 10 times, you'll find 10 mistakes. And then today we hear, oh, oops, we left this thing in that relieves AES of millions of dollars potentially of liability. And I don't see how, whether it's the board or SERPC or whoever it is, I don't see how we can go this long on something this critical and have that many errors. This isn't an oops. Oh, oops, we forgot to take it out. Oh, well, yeah, if you read it 10 times, your words, you'll find 10 errors. But I'm gonna push it through anyway, your words. Something this important should be right to the last period. and it's not.
Brad, let me ask you something. What would you do if we rescinded this one here and the 23? How would you feel about that? Just let the wind turbines do what they want to.
Honestly,
You know,
Jim,
I've been real silent about this a long
No,
time.
okay, so I'll answer that.
And we've
my
been
opinion.
trying to help people, and all we get is rained on. You know, it's about time you understand that we're here to help you. We can always bring this one back up and add to it, like we did the one in November of 23. We didn't think it was good enough, so we brought this up, and we can bring this one back up.
And we've added 150 feet.
Yes, we have. We've added a lot of stuff to it.
Oh, the lights might turn off at night, but they're 650 feet tall and they weren't in 2023, Jim. And we're putting these things right next to us. And we don't even get the same protection as what the newest safety manual comes out and says for fire. We don't even get that protection. We don't. You can say what you want, but we don't. Okay, it's 500 kilometers. Okay, it's 1640 for fire in their manual to evacuate. And we're hardly half that to our property line. So what would I do? I think this two-step permitting is a Trojan horse. It lets them bring in and give you next to no information, and then you're out of luck. Once you try to change something, you get sued. And we've seen that case after case after case in Iowa, and I think that's what's going on. I think this was opened up so we could add a two-step process so they can stroll in. So I'd go back to 23, and I'd give up 150 feet for a two-step process. That's what I would do. Yes, sir.
Niall Shade, Minneapolis. USDA farmland exclusion for industrial wind farms became a viable and enforceable program in August of 2024 when Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins formally changed USDA eligibility rules to block federal subsidies for wind and solar protection on prime farmland. The current industrial proposed site in the county up in the northwest corner is prime farmland. It is located and not eligible for rural utility financing and subsidies based on USDA criteria, which is commonly used to stabilize long-term projects. The ordinance focuses on long-term viability, decommissioning certainty, and protection of landowners and taxpayers. Those protections depend on a project's financial stability over the life of the project, not just the size of the bond at approval. USDA ineligibility is a material financial risk factor. Without access to USDA financing, higher borrowing costs, fewer lenders, greater financial risk, and a higher probability of early abandonment exist. We are not asking the County Board of Supervisors to enforce USDA rules. We ask the board to recognize and evaluate this known risk factor when determining whether the ordinance's decommissioning and financial assurance requirements are truly satisfied.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Allison Moore, Yarmouth. Sadly, the wind ordinance has now been approved 2-1. But I want to share a concern that a lot of residents still have, that some important issues raised during this process didn't get fully addressed. Many people spoke up about things like the need for property line setbacks, height reduction, one-step permitting process, conservation, health concerns, and a designated landing zone setback for Medforce. These comments were made in good faith, but for many of us it feels like they were heard without being fully considered, and that most of these concerns are still missing from the final ordinance. Property lines matter because it impacts don't stop at a lease boundary. Noise, shadow flicker, and safety concerns carry over onto neighboring land even when the neighbor didn't sign up for a turbine. Without good and necessary boundary line setbacks, non-participating landowners end up dealing with impacts they didn't consent to, essentially resulting in trespass zoning. Conservation and health concerns are real serious issues. This will affect how land is managed over time, how nearby wildlife and natural areas are treated and protected, and unfortunately how close people are expected to live to large industrial equipment. Noise levels, nighttime conditions, and overall quality of life are things rural residents think about often, and they deserve careful consideration and clear expectations. Because of that, there seems to be gaps in the ordinance that may not show up on paper, but will become obvious if projects move from plans to reality. Those gaps matter most to people who did not agree to host turbines, but still have to live with the impacts. I'm not asking you to undo what's already been decided. I'm asking you to acknowledge these concerns, watch closely as permits are reviewed, and stay open to making necessary changes if the ordinance doesn't work the way it was intended, including but not limited to stronger property lines and conservation protections. Good rules aren't just passed once, they need to be looked at again and again and improved when needed. I appreciate your time and your willingness to listen and hope we can continue to work together. But I also want to say, Tom, the snippet you brought up from the email, does it not concern you that the AES is saying something different than was in the lease agreement? Because it specifically said the closest nearby point of the turbine. And you said you contacted AES. I'm just telling you. You said you contacted AES and they said the base. That's not the closest point.
Well, in the first place, it's not a safety setback. It's for wind interference.
It doesn't say that, but I'm asking you if that
that's why.
concerns you, that they are telling you something different than,
No.
than that doesn't concern you?
No,
That
I
the
don't
lease
think
is
they
saying
did.
something
I don't
different
think
than
they
they're
did.
telling you audibly?
No,
Why? Why wouldn't that concern you?
because I don't think that's what happened.
You read it with your own eyes.
I
It says
did read
the closest proximity to the turbine.
I did read it.
That's not the base.
That's pretty much the standard setback if you look at things.
Then why
If you
did they
measure-
say the closest
I
proximity?
do not know. I do not like that stuff.
Well,
I'm
it
just
should
saying I
bother
asked them.
you that that language is not consistent.
I will,
It doesn't bother you?
doesn't right now. I will
Okay.
think about it.
Okay, thank you.
Leslie Coates, Yarmouth. I have a question for Jim. You asked what we would do differently. Are you aware of the height restriction in Chuck Grassley's county? Do you know what it is?
400 and some feet, if I
No, it's
remember right.
262.
What's that?
262.
262?
You could have given us better height restrictions. That was simple. Well, you know, there's one in Texas at 650 feet tall. That's what we would do different. We would be safer for our community. We'd give setbacks from the property line, just like Kim Reynolds. We would look at our elected officials who really care about their county and see what their ordinances say, and maybe base it a little off of that and make our community more safe. We've watched, I'm sure you haven't watched all the videos, and you sit and you call us fearmongers, Tom. You call people who don't want these things in our community fearmongers, and you say we're biased, but you are obviously biased. You have gone with SERPC every single time. You have not done anything to protect this county, and even with this ordinance, what was published and what you voted on was different. It was not told to the public. You voted on something different than what, you stamped something different than what you presented to the public, and it's millions of dollars possibly to the wind company. That's clear. That's so clear. What's wrong with belt and suspenders? Why can't we protect our leasees and our non-leasees? That's what I would do different. I would protect my county, and I would research it, and I would understand it. We've been reading this ordinance bit by bit by bit, and I don't think you have a clue what's in it half the time. So anyway, that's my statement.
Rose Fisher, Pleasant Grove. I guess my first quick comment is Lori's question about the comprehensive plan, and Tom has said numerous times why it's not looked at, because it's old and nobody wanted county zoning, and I get that. But what is your vision? You guys make important decisions up there. What's your master plan for the county if you're not looking at that? What do you use? I mean, I would think there'd be some sort of thing in place. But I guess what I want to comment is I'm the one who emailed Jared and asked about paragraph D. So, quote, his response. So I had changed the last part of the first sentence so that it referred to only non-participating properties instead of all properties. I had intended to remove the final sentence at the same time, but for whatever reason, I failed to do so. So this sentence should be removed, and I will make sure that this is addressed at the public hearing and the document is modified accordingly prior to adoption. That did not happen.
Anybody else from the audience?
Dave Hollingsworth, Mediapolis, lifetime Mediapolis, Des Moines County resident. I'm gonna start off number one. Mediapolis is the only town in this county that showed any substantial growth in the last few years. I'm sure you've got those numbers yourselves. The school's the only one that hasn't showed a decline, but an increase. Now, if you start surrounding northern Des Moines County with windmills, and you go to the RDM subdivision, which Jim is evidently gonna move into, and you put windmills on the south side of Mediapolis, and he has to look at that shadow flicker all day long, and all those people who have invested well into that area, what do you think it's gonna do to the property value and the people wanting to exodus, that nice subdivision that was built out there? Now, Jim's right. You did put an ordinance in to protect the citizens of this county. I'll agree with you there. They're pretty lax, very lax compared to what you look at from other counties. You have the chance here now. You can go back and you can amend these things and make it safer for the rest of the county and protect this county. If you stick these windmills all over, who's going to want to move this area? Stick them out there on the golf course here at Burlington Golf Course. Let's say they have had rough years. Maybe they decide to lease theirs out for windmills. What do you think it's going to do to those people? There ain't going to be many people wanting to live in that area anymore. I would like to protect the town of Mediapolis and what I call our community, which is our school district, which covers a lot of miles, which can be destroyed with bad ordinances. Now, you tell me you don't have county zoning. Why are you approving subdivisions?
There's a subdivision ordinance. They have to be.
You have zoning board too, don't you?
2 mile zoning. When you subdivide something, you have to divide it into plats so it can be taxed. Because maybe somebody else owns this part now, and it was all owned by Joe, and now it's owned by Sally in this part. So whenever there's a subdivision, it needs to be approved so that the plats can get it can be assessed and taxed appropriately to the actual owner.
I realize what the laws are for subdivision. You can only subdivide so many times. And after that, you can't do it anymore. Somebody else has to do it. But generally, when you're subdividing, you're putting in what they have to have, whether it's sewer or water or any of the infrastructure that goes with it. It's not my first rodeo. And like I said, Jared could show you all those facts. And why doesn't the county have a comprehensive plan? Cities are required to. Is there a reason why you don't have a comprehensive plan? I know they just updated the one up there. They were required to do it, every 20 years? Things have to be updated. I think you're opening yourself up to a lawsuit if there happened to be some damage. I don't know who's going to take care of it. And another thing is that Big Hollow, that was a generational thing that started a generation before you and I. You could probably remember when it was started. I can remember they'd go out there and they'd clean a little bit one year and they'd quit. And they'd get benched. Now, finally, we have a beautiful, beautiful, county park there.
Sir.
And what's going to happen when they put windmills around?
Summarize, please.
It's not going to be much of a nature center anymore. So I would highly consider you to look at amending and repairing what this amendment or zoning is that you got, or ordinances. Maybe you do need to have zoning. Zoning is, back in the day before our times, it was fences made good neighbors. Well, neighbors, you don't even know your neighbors. You might know their names, but do you know them? I doubt that anybody knows their neighbor. So I'm saying that ordinances and stuff can make good neighbors, and they are made to protect you from yourself and from your neighbors.
Thank you.
That I'll rest.
Anybody else from the audience? Yes.
Cindy Newberry, New London, Veteran, Des Moines County. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If these 650-foot turbines were such a good idea for the county, I believe AES and everyone involved would have been shouting it from the rooftops, including the supervisors. But no, it was a big, well-kept secret. My husband and I rooted for our neighbors as they were bidding on the land between our houses, only to find out a year later they had bought the land for turbines and started working for AES. Previously from finding that out, we sat at our dining room table and shared meals and many conversations with them. We sat around campfires and chatted, never once in all of those get-togethers did this ever come up. We sat until there was a little screenshot of an article by Lori Cochran in the Minneapolis newspaper that acres had been leased around Yarmouth. The cat was out of the bag, so it began. So a lot of people started coming to the meetings. Many times we were told we should have been to the meetings the first time they worked on this ordinance. One, we did not know about it. Two, I and many others, I am sure, assumed that this was a dedicated farmland as it is written in the comprehensive plan. The supervisors constantly stated that it was in public notices in the paper. How many read the public notices in the paper? Anyone?
I do.
Read some.
Most people don't get the paper.
With my magnifying glass, I might add.
Yeah. This all leads up to my point. People, we all need to wake up and pay attention. The good old days of elected officials taking care of the county are gone. The mere fact that they are only concerned about the property rights of the participating property owners is a wake-up call. If they could have made it equally fair for both sides, we could all be happy. But no, they get full rights to theirs and we do not. I'm requesting, along with our weekly emails that we get every week from the Board of Supervisors meetings agenda, that public notices for the county are included. It's a simple copy and paste from sending to the paper. Not everyone can afford the paper, no one wants to get the paper. Sorry, girls. Not everyone can read that small print, Jim. Help us be informed. Can you do that for us?
Talk to the auditor on that.
So I reached out to our website, and on our website, when I post the agenda, there's a button that I have that if you sign up for them, it gives you the notices for the agenda that you get every Friday when I post. However, public notices go out to the newspapers, and those go out, they have to be noticed publicly. There's no way for me to post them on our website and then send it out to you guys all at the same time.
Really?
So on the
It can't be
agenda,
added to that?
I've asked them about it, and they said that the only way I can do that is when I publish the agenda.
I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, you can put everything else on here.
I mean, it's on the website. We post it on the website.
But those email, and I get the emails, and I hope everyone signs up for them if you're not getting them.
There's 25 people that I have signed up for them.
How many?
25.
25 people? That's all? Okay, well, I'm gonna push that. I mean, we do. We have to wake up. You know, the fact that this slid under the radar for so long, and it's right next to me. I mean, I'm surrounded. It's like, and we also have data centers coming up. We have main issues coming up. Are you guys already addressing those?
I'm gonna have to ask you to summarize, I'm sorry.
Just an answer.
We're not a zoned county.
So you can't cover data centers and eminent domain?
I'm not sure how we would have a moratorium or something like, we would have to have a standalone ordinance for about everything. We are not, counties are not required to have comprehensive plans. The only reason you have a comprehensive plan is if you want to get zoned. And when they made the comprehensive plan, it turned out Des Moines County did not want to be zoned.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. You might want to readdress that.
Well, I'm just telling you where it came from.
And I'm not sure, I know I've been over my minutes, but maybe he knows this.
You're using a way a lot more time.
I know,
You're allowed.
you know, we're weekly buddies now. I have one more thing I would like to ask, and it's about adding that to the ordinance. Henry County had this happen. they thought they were on their third reading, and maybe the attorney here knows, or Trent. When you change one thing, they changed one thing in their ordinance from the draft, and they had to start over with the first reading. You know, Trent?
So, but I looked and, you know, we found out about this last week because they'd already had the one that had the draft watermark taken off and that sentence taken off, and it was talked about in the meeting. Like Tom said, it was taking that sentence out, was discussed. So when they voted last week, and it was on the ordinance that they voted on today. So it was the second reading. When you look at 331, 302, 6, you could pass ordinances under either A or B. So A is the most traditional way, and that requires 2 reading and then be eligible to waive the first reading. Or you could pass it under B, which requires publication and 1 reading, and then you could waive a second reading. What normally happens is all of those requirements get bunched together, and we just do all of it out of an abundance of precaution. So, and I think that's probably what happened in Henry County, is they're like, just out of abundance of precaution, let's just, let's double tap this, make sure we really got it. But I think we're passed under A and or B, because it was published this last Friday as is, and it was partially published as is the Friday before, because what was available for those who came in to get it, they got the one without the draft watermark and without that sentence. It's just the one that was on the website was the one that was with the draft watermark and the one that had that sentence included. So as far as a technical legal construct, I think we're valid under both A and or B. And the guys wanted to go forward. From there, it's a political question. What do they want to do? They wanted to go forward, right? That's what he did. So, that's it.
And I just, learned a lot in this little adventure, and I knew that had happened in Henry County.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's why. And I think just out of an abundance of precaution, that's, I think, why you always have the public notice and the public meeting, and normally two readings and a waiver of a third, when at that point, it really could be 1 reading and a waiver of a second. I just think that oftentimes we'll really do it every step just out of, just to make it so if something's questioned, you can say, no, we did this. So that's fine.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Is there another from ground? Yes, sir.
Johnny Wagenbach. I was just wondering, I haven't heard any information about valuations and assessments and how the taxes will be added to the county as these things start to go up. I mean, I don't know, when will that be handled, or where is there information about it?
It's my understanding that they're assessed locally and they're get placed on the local property tax valuations. There's and the state has rules. I spoke to the assessor a couple, 3 weeks back, I don't remember. The state has rules on how they're assessed, but it will be the Des Moines County assessor that would assess them. And I believe they're assessed on cost or construction, or what it costs to build them. I'm not positive about that. But they max out at 30% of their value. So I like it goes from 0 to 35% increments, like over 6 years, it goes to 5%, then 6%, or 10%, 15%, until it gets to 30% of their value. So and then that's where it stops, is at 30%. So whatever that number is, it will be added to the taxable value of Des Moines County. Actually, it will be assessed to the taxable assessment of rural, unincorporated Des Moines County. So that will be added to that so that the taxable value will increase. You can call the assessor right off. This is from memory, so I'm pretty sure it tops out at 30% over 6 years.
I think it's 7. Do they have any idea what the value of one of these windmills is?
I hear different, I truly don't know. That would be, I don't know.
Anybody from PES know what the value of one of them would be?
Not yet, so if you wanna reach out, follow up.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Julie Zimmer, I live in Sperry. I'm going to read a statement on behalf of someone with experience. Quote, "My name is Nikila Blessing. I live within the High Prairie Project in Schuyler County, Missouri. This project consists of 175 499 feet tall turbines. They went online in December 2020. The closest turbine to my home is approximately 3,400 feet. After living within this project, I can tell you from experience that I do not recommend living within a wind project to anyone. The noise is all-encompassing. There is rarely an escape unless the turbines are shut down. Even in that scenario, a person can frequently hear the hum of the generators. The noise is variable and bothersome day and night. It changes with the weather, wind speed, wind direction, precipitation, humidity, etc. We can frequently hear the turbines inside our home, especially at night and early mornings. I have been awoken in the night by the noise of the turbines. When there is ice on the blades, the movement of the blades causes a vibration within our home. I frequently experience ear pressure and a sensation of my ears draining. This is more of an issue in the winter when there is more consistent operation of the turbines. I have had my ears checked upwards of 6 times with no noted acute changes or ear infections. These sensations resolve when I am out of the area or if the turbines are shut down for longer periods of time. Many of our roads are still not fully repaired, and during construction they were completely destroyed. I cannot convey to you enough how much construction of the project will alter your lives. The tax burden on residents was not lessened by the project. The public utility that owns and operates the project has requested 3 rate increases since they acquired the project. That's the extent of it. And then if I have some time left, just my own statement. Tom, you mentioned in the public hearing that wind turbines are legal, and that's true. But it's also legal to make a safe ordinance for people. Like Monica stated during the public hearing, she can't even have 1 chicken on her property because Minneapolis has a rule that chickens can't bother her neighbors. So I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience? Ron?
Ron Helling. I live in the Prairie Grove area. I'm a member of the County Conservation Board, and I would just like assurances as we move forward with the mitigation language, because I'm confident that that is going to have to be done. There will be issues that are going to lead to mitigation issues with these wind turbines, that there won't be attempts by the board to try to neuter the language of those mitigations, similar to what you did previously when we had recommendations that have now been basically turned into suggestions based on what AES gave you in rebuttal to what we recommended. That's all I ask.
Yes, sir.
Dan Peterson, Sperry, live out by Big Hollow. These will be pretty close to my place. They go in. But I got a question. I wasn't here last week down with the flu. Maybe a mute point now, but when did they start? When did they first start inquiring about leasing property? Do you have a date for that?
Dan, I don't have a date for it. We got wind of it that they were starting to, this is back in 22.
So-
So that's when we started our first ordinance, when we heard that there might be leasing property. We didn't know for sure.
Yeah, so were they're talking to the landowners before you guys are aware of it?
I think they even had leases signed, I'm not
Well,
sure.
that's my point. And didn't even these landowners, now this might not be true, I don't know. What I heard was the leasees signed a paper saying that they would not discuss this. Is that true or not?
I don't know, I haven't seen a lease.
I was told that by one of the persons who signed the lease. Now, I would say that unless we're just handling things different now, that you guys are ushering in a new generation of how Iowans do things, I would have been appalled at that. That they use these underhanded tricks to get entangled in our county before we were aware of it. Now it's harder to get them out. If I was a supervisor, I would have said, pack your bags.
Yeah.
That's not the way we do things in Iowa.
Right.
Amen. But it seems like this board must be ushering in a new way of doing things in Iowa. You know, Iowa used to be a neighbor helping neighbor. You know, if somebody's down, there's a benefit. If a farmer goes down, there's combines in his field. You supervisors are ushering in neighbor hating neighbor. Because that's what's happening here. That is exactly what's happening. And this is on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Because that is exactly what's going on. I talked to the county, or to the governor's office 3 times. And Katie, the last one who's the liaison, said it's totally 100%, the authority, the jurisdiction is on your shoulders. We wouldn't have to have them at all if you supervisors didn't want it. You can call, I got the date down when I called the governor's office, anybody can check it. Because I said, so our supervisors could nix this thing? Exactly. With a 2-to-1 vote, this thing's done in your county. So you say you're wanting to protect us. Well, you know, that's not what I call that. And maybe I'm wrong, you know, it seems like everybody I've talked to in Des Moines County, and I'm out in the rural area, very few are for this project. Now, you have a lot more constituents, I understand that. But if there's a question, and maybe I don't know all the answers, that in November we vote. That sounds like a pretty fair, simple thing to do. Because to me it looks like you are not, aren't you? It's a representative government. You represent your constituents, right? Well, to me it looks like you are not doing that. To me it looks like, and I'm not trying to be unfair here, but to me it looks like you're representing somebody else and not your constituent. And that's all that.
Kenny Olson, Des Moines County. I want to take a moment to be honest about what's really happening here. Wind turbines are not new. They're not experimental. They've been a part of Iowa's energy system for decades. They are literally on our license plates. And they've helped make Iowa a national leader in clean energy, rural investment, and grid reliability. If turbines were truly dangerous or unproven, they would not be operating across thousands of sites in this state today with a track record of 0 deaths and 0 injury to the general public. What is new is the level of fear surrounding them. And that fear did not come from Iowa's lived experience. It came from the way this issue has been politicized and amplified nationally. When people are told repeatedly that something familiar is suddenly a threat, anxiety takes root, even when the underlying facts have not changed. That doesn't mean that concerns should be dismissed. It means we should separate real, fixable, local issues like siting, setbacks, fairness, and accountability from narratives that frame wind as uniquely harmful while ignoring much larger, well-documented public health risks we already live with. Iowa has one of the highest cancer rates in the country, and that's not caused by wind. We know agricultural runoff, nitrates in drinking water, and legacy pollution are real, measurable problems. Yet they haven't generated this level of alarm or organizing. Wind energy has become a lightning rod not because it's uniquely dangerous, but because it's visible, it's symbolic, and it's politically convenient. If we're serious about protecting public health, property rights, and rural communities, then fear alone cannot drive policy. We owe it to ourselves to focus on evidence, enforceable protections, and honest trade-offs, not panic fueled by ideology. We can do better than that. Iowa always has, and I applaud those of you who have not succumbed to that fear. Thank you.
You live in town. You won't be anywhere near these things.
Hold on.
Comments
I
up
think that's
forward.
what everybody's trying to say, you can do
We wanna
better.
make,
Way of life, not
hey,
fear.
we wanna make sure that we keep word, okay? We can't have everybody talking at the same time, please, please. I'm gonna let you go right after her. She had her hand up first, and then I'll let you go.
My name is Susan Beckman. I do live in town. I don't live in the country, but I grew up in Storm Lake, Iowa. I was there when the first
Ma'am,
wind.
and I apologize. Couldn't you look toward us, speak to us? It's easier to hear you when you're
Sure.
facing forward.
I was living in Storm Lake when the very first wind farm went up. I was working for the local paper, and I spent days going out with the wind turbine companies, with the engineers, and I interviewed farmers that had agreed to put them on their land and those that had fought the land, that putting them on their land, or didn't want to see them within their sites. The very same arguments, the very same emotion and the same passion was brought to those arguments, and that was over 25 years ago. Almost 30 years later, we get 60% of our energy from wind. This is clean energy. This does not require water and in the manufacturing. So I moved to Burlington in 2011. I worked for Siemens Energy. I went to the National Renewable Energy Labs. I have interviewed scientists. I have worked with the employees. I have been to the top of a wind turbine. I've spent time in Adair County. Nobody in Buena Vista County is complaining about the influx of tax revenues from their farms. I know farmers who have put their kids through college. I know people who have saved their family farms, and they live within the turbines. My sister owns a house on the lake. She enjoys beautiful sunsets to the west, and there are wind turbines in the distance. It makes it no less beautiful. My brother-in-law lives on a farm that has been in the generation for 3 generations. He does not have a turbine on his property because the land has been sold because of generational handovers by his dad, but he also has a beautiful view of the sunset. And 30 years later, people don't have, young people growing up in that community have benefited from jobs. They've benefited from programs being taught in the community colleges, and the whole county, Pocahontas County, you can look it up. Their revenues for their schools is tremendous. They had nothing else to go on.
We don't need it. We don't want it. We don't need it.
Well, you may feel that way, but again, we are a county, we are not.
But I
It's
want
not
to make sure that, again, these are comments. This isn't a back and forth. We're not having a debate here. So, again, when somebody's speaking, just let them speak, please. Let's just be courteous. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my name is Abigail Costanza. I'm from the Big Hollow area. I love the peace and quiet that I have out in the country. That's something I cherish, something I value. I can't change waterways on my property if it affects my neighbor. When I build a fence, I need to make sure the materials that I use, I coordinate with my neighbor. In this ordinance, we've got some people who've got land that they've purchased where they want to build a home, and the wind turbine's going to be right there. That's not protecting the property rights of the person that's the non-leasee. As far as Kenny stated, saying the issues that we have with cancer, that's something that we'll fight another day. But wind turbines are highly subsidized, and even this company alone, AES, has $23 billion of indebtedness reported on their own report. In just January 6th, just right around the time of this last reading, the same company is blowing up and having them demolished, 300 of them. Why? Because their county said, if you can't stand on your own 2 feet without having our tax abatements, we don't want you here. They said it wasn't profitable. The rush right now is in the big beautiful bill. There is a grace period that these things get built mid-July, mid-2026, and they can still get the subsidies from the government, the tax credits. Okay? We're seeing a push. I feel like the things that you have in your ordinance are not the reflection of what your actual constituents want, as my uncle said. I think that you guys need to look at your ordinance again. I know you just did this whole thing, but we'll continue to fight this, I guarantee. I know that it really does just lie in your hands, but any avenue possible, we will take it to the highest, because we don't want this is not green energy. When these things come down, they bury them in large landfills, because guess what? None of it can be recycled. When it comes down and it gets crumpled into a field, you can't graze your livestock. When it comes down, Mr. Wheats in Iowa, he's got the same thing going on, and he's fighting another wind company, burnt down 3 times, 2 wind turbines, 3 separate fires, melted and threw debris everywhere. 230 acres of his cropland is contaminated, and he's not allowed to sell anything off of that cropland. Also, his pasture was destroyed from that. They remediated it, which meant they spread it around more. This is not green energy. This is, you need to look into it further, because it really truly is not what it's presenting to be. And as soon as the tax credits are gone, these things probably aren't going to be around. Well, the behemoths of the wind turbines will be here. We'll be dealing with the cleanup. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to read this one more time, just so everybody knows. I'm not taking sides on either way. I want it safe for the people that are participating and those that are not. But the purpose, it says the purpose of this ordinance is to establish a set of minimum standards for the siting, placement, construction, installation, operation, maintenance, and decommissioning of utility-scale wind, solar, and battery energy systems in order to protect the public health, safety, and community welfare of the residents of Des Moines County. That's the whole point behind all of this. So again, for those that are participants, the reason why I set up this, came up with the standards that I did was to protect you as well, just as well as I'm protecting those that don't want to be a part of it. So I just want to, again, I want to reiterate that that's what it comes down to. Was there anybody else that did have a statement? Is everybody satisfied? We're limited it to one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I told everybody. I said, make it count. Was there anybody else that did have a statement? Yes, sir.
Yeah, in 8 to 10 years after these
Can you
things
tell me
are
your name
erected,
for the record, please?
and the oil's running down the side. And
Sir, can we get your name, sir?
Lee Ingram.
Thank you.
Oil's running down the side, and they're not subsidized anymore. And the ownership is buried in 4 to 5 shell companies. Who's gonna take these down? Now, my daughter's a paralegal, and she works for lawyers that make $2,000 an hour. Now, I'm saying that if there's a lawsuit involved, which there will be, Moines County, to take them down because the erection company won't do it, who's gonna win this lawsuit? You're a lawyer, you make what, $400 an hour?
I wish.
Yeah. These guys make $2,000 an hour. Who's gonna win the lawsuit? And there will be lawsuits because there will be trouble in 8 to 10 years with these things. When the subsidy's gone, sorry, they're no longer profitable. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Is everybody satisfied? Mr. Funk.
I guess I just have a question. Do you really feel like, as a landowner, I own 3 acres, don't have my house built yet, do you feel like this ordinance is protecting me, that I want to build a house on this 3 acres? Do you feel like it's protecting me for in the future when I want to build a house? Or do you think this is, I mean, do you think it's protecting me, honestly?
Is that a question for me?
Yep, all of you. I want an answer from each one. I know Shane's answer. I really don't need an answer from Shane. He already knows that property line setback would protect me because I haven't had my house built yet. But I want an answer from Jim and an answer from Tom
Where's
Do you think
your
this?
property at? I'd have to know exactly where you're at.
That's besides the point. If I have 3 acres.
No, that's not beside the point.
Uh.
You got 3 acres of ground.
Yeah,
There's a
it's-
map out
it's-
there where they're gonna put these things. That's what I wanna know. You got that?
Yeah, and I have zero clue where they're gonna be according to my property. So that's
Well,
kind of my issue.
They had a map out where they're gonna be.
Exactly where they're gonna be.
That's not what
No.
the ordinance is
No,
for.
where the coordinates where the people lease their ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, how close is the closest lease to
Yeah.
you?
AES
You're
can move
clueless.
them around, Jim.
How close is the closest lease to you?
The closest lease is touching my property.
Okay.
All 3 sides. All 3 sides.
Okay.
All 3. South, east, west. Every direction. They could have one right south of me, 715. East of me,
Okay,
715.
now
West
that I
of me,
found that out,
715.
I can answer, no, I don't know.
Thank you. You broker. He don't know if it's gonna protect my property. That's what he just said. Will it protect my
Talk
property?
about this. Yeah, I do.
You think it will?
We, the preliminary review that nobody likes, that gives this board the chance.
Well, I hope it protects me, because that.
Did you want to hear an answer?
Yep.
It gives this board an opportunity to request additional considerations or adjustments. And I've spoken to you twice.
When does
And
that
I-
come into effect?
If you don't want to hear an answer, just keep talking. I told you my answer. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Good enough.
Is everybody satisfied?
No. But thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess I just need to say my piece to the board because.
Can you state your name so anyone?
Maddie.
Thank you.
Maddie Hollingsworth, Minneapolis. I think it's just very clear to everyone, even Jim just now, bringing up the project. This was never supposed to be around a project. I mean, that was stated when you guys were working on it. Jim also referred us to Kenny's videos that he has made around the project, referring to them having better setbacks around the project. It's clear that AES is not a great company. They snuck in. They're the ones that have divided neighbors. If we want to make it political and act like higher up is causing all this fear-mongering, I would completely disagree because those are not my politics, and I don't think you should bring them down to this smaller level where it doesn't matter at a higher end where we stand. We're neighbors, and that has never affected us before. This ordinance is responsible for that. You do not have our safety in mind. You are not doing it from the property line. You are allowing high turbines because of a project coming in. Where would you have gotten that number otherwise? I realize that it was in there before, a high number, but why wouldn't you come down more when you hear all of this public input? It is very, very, very clear, and you have gotten scrutiny because you are our supervisors. You have not made a good ordinance. And you should get scrutiny for that, and you probably will until your end of time. So we are very disappointed that you made an ordinance around a project for a company that is very indebted and also will probably be bought out by an even larger company, one of their already shareholders, that we will never defeat. We never will. So you had one chance and you failed us.
Is everybody satisfied? Let me rephrase. Has everybody spoken that wanted to? Did you speak already?
I have not.
Okay.
John March. I live in Winfield. I own property in Moines County. Jim, you had mentioned that there's a map out there. can you guys share that? Because we're kind of in the same situation as the gentleman here, exactly where these things are gonna get put. My wife and I are wanting to build a house, and we bought 30 acres to build this house. And we know that our property is gonna devalue, but can we make a choice? Well, maybe that windmill won't affect us much because it's just right across the road, but it's off another 150 foot from our property line, or the angle's gonna work for us. But we have no map where it's actually, this is where it's gonna sit. And if there is, I have not seen it. That's what I'm asking, is so we can move forward. We know our property value is gonna be, affected 100%. So how much can we stand to lose, I guess, and we need to be able to move forward with do we sell our ground? We need to get out from underneath this or get moving on our house. So thank you.
John, see me after the meeting. The only map I've got is the one that the no wind give me, and I'll give it to you.
Okay. So is that on the record for everybody to see? I mean,
You can make copies, I can make copies.
She can make copies of it.
It's meaningless.
Then why did you guys give it to us then?
It's
I
not
didn't
a,
give it to you.
Okay, again, we want to make sure that we're not getting too carried away here now. Is there anybody else that didn't get a chance to speak that wanted to?
There might be some people in the hallway. I don't know if they're able to hear. There were earlier, maybe they all made it in.
Okay. Again, I want to thank you all for coming in. I know that you're all concerned. This is life-changing for many of you. But keep the faith. That's about all I can say. And those of you that pray, continue to do so. Continue to do so. If there's nothing else, with an eye, we're adjourned.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. That's what happens. That's what happens when you get older.